Okay, hello. So in this video, I plan to talk a little bit about error correction and sort of making our forms just a little bit more robust. Now, the place where I want to start is at the beginning, really, because if you remember, we had this function here called initialize. Now, the problem with this is that when I come in, okay, what's going to happen is it's going to create a database, okay, and when we create the database, it's going to check to see if the file exists, and if it doesn't exist, it's going to create this catalog thing which creates the access file, okay, and then we get connection to the database, which is fine. The problem is that in the initialize function here, we create the table. However, if the table already exists, this is going to cause a problem. Okay, so I suppose the question is, we need to kind of figure out how to solve this. Now, I have done a little bit of sort of practice for this video, and my first thought was to create a function that basically just did a select, did something like this, on customers. And the theory being that when this data set was populated, it would have no tables. So if I did a count on the tables, it would come back as 0. But it turns out it throws an exception. So I'm just going to do a little bit of prototyping here. Now I've deleted my... oh no, I need to delete it again. I'm going to delete my database. So I'm starting from scratch. And I'm going to go into my customers. And I've uncommented the initialize. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a little breakpoint on there. So when the form loads, okay, it's going to stop here. So let's have a little go. And I'm just going to see what happens, because I don't really know. So here we go. So we're going to go into F11 to go inside here. And I'm just going to come down. So this is going to create that table. Okay, now the first time round, because it doesn't exist, it's going to do that. And then it populates the list box. Well, there's nothing in it, so that's fine. I'm now going to try and run it again and just see what happens. So let's just have a quick squiz inside here. Right, so it's created customers, there it is, okay, and it's empty, so that's fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what happens if I try and create a table when a table already exists. I've got a hunch, but I'm going to see if I'm right. Right, so we get the command, create the table, execute, brilliant. So we've got an exception, and the exception is quite specific. It says table customers already exists. And if I do a little view details, we might actually be able to get something useful out of here. We might be able to, we might not. Oh, the message. And I'm just wondering, oh, there's the error code. Now, I'm just thinking, can I see inside, can I actually see what that is? Because, right, hang on. If I get my little calculator out. Now, being lazy, I always go on the programmer one. And I'm just thinking, if I put that, oh, okay. It's not letting me do it. I'm going to have to type it in. Right, so minus 21472179790. Hex. Oh, I was thinking it might be a nice hex code. We can probably find out what that error code is. But anyway, well look, I tell you what, why don't we put try and catch? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to try this. So this is kind of a good thing, and we need to see lots of this in your code, because this is showing that you are thinking very carefully about how things are working. Now, I don't want to just catch everything. I want to be quite specific, because I want to basically show that I have thought about the fact that there is a chance that creating this twice is going to cause an exception. So I want to capture specifically an OLEDB exception there. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, I suppose we could put a little error message in here, but actually I'm just going to put a little comment in saying if an exception is thrown, the table is already, oops, hang on, let's cancel that, already created, continue as normal. Now, in some respects, this isn't very satisfactory, because effectively we're creating an error situation, But do you know what? In a kind of way, it sort of works. It's fine. I was looking up online actually to sort of try and find out where how to find out if a table exists, and this is the code. It's horrible. Okay, so really, what I don't really want to go down this route here. If we were doing MySQL, it would be really lovely. It's just you just do this, put the table name in, and it says whether it comes back or not. But again, the sort of top answer here is kind of sort of saying that it's horrible. Don't want that. Don't want to go down that route. So this will do. Okay, so let's just see if this works. So hopefully this will fix. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to initialize. It's going to try it. Oh, we've got an exception. But because the exception is caught and handled, we just carry on regardless. Now I'm just going to get rid of the breakpoint. And let's see if it runs without the breakpoint. Bash. Brilliant. Absolutely perfect. Right, okay, so that's one kind of error sorted. Now, the next kind of error is going to be around our forms, because we're going to take in an age and a name. And there is a bit of a risk here, because obviously ages need to be numbers. And also, if you think about it, an age realistically shouldn't be more than about 120, should it? So let's add some checking here. Okay, so we've got the age. So the first thing is I'm converting it to an int. So there's straight away, there is a possibility here for an error. Watch. Okay, what happens? Well, there's a couple of things. Firstly, if I click submit, I've got an error because it can't convert nothing into age. But even then, this one passed. Look, it allowed the name to be empty. So I'm going to put some error checks in here. So I'm going to first think about the name. If, let's just stick with the text box. Text box name dot text equals the empty string. Let's just go for message boxes here. So, oh crikey, it's I'm just trying to remember. Do you know what? I can't remember how to do message boxes. How rubbish is that? So let's just do C#. And we'll go message box. Message box dot show. There we go. Right. Message box dot show. And I don't know if you know this, but there's a number of different ways you can do this. Oh, don't want that one. Let's go for this. Right, I tell you what, I'll show you in a sec. Right, so here we go. So I'm going to put in some text. So I'm going to say no. In fact, you know what? I'm just thinking actually, we're going to end up with loads of message boxes. I just want one message box. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to say, I'm going to create a string, error text, okay, and it equals the empty string. Okay. If the thing is wrong, I'm going to say error text equals, oh no, I'm going to go plus equals, and you'll see why in a minute. So the error text is, so name is empty. It's not the best text, I know, but anyway. So I'm just thinking, is there anything else that could go wrong with this? Well, I suppose we could also say if textbox name.text.contains, and again, I'm just sort of thinking, is there a version? Just thinking, can we, oh hang on, so string value, what does that do? Returns a value indicating whether the specified substring yeah. I was just thinking, can we, because names shouldn't have numbers in them, should they? But you know what, let's keep this fairly simple, but you can kind of see how this is getting quite much. Actually, do you know what? I'm sort of thinking that needs to go here, doesn't it? No, I'll do that. So if that's there. Right, okay, so let's do the next one. So, what do we do here? Well, this is going to need to be a try catch, isn't it? So I'm going to try this. So if, and by the way, age has to be defined up here. So try that. Okay, now I don't know what kind of exception you could get, so I'm just going to catch all exceptions. So in this case, error text plus equals. Now, first thing is I'm going to do new line, because I can't remember how to do that, adding a new line to a string. There is a fancy pants way. There we go, environment.newline. There we go, equals environment.newline. Let's do this properly. And then error text plus equals. So that's basically going to put a new line in it. And we'll just say, ooh, no, I'm just thinking, I'm going to put error text here. Plus environment.newline. There we go. Let's do that. Right, so now the error text is going to say invalid age plus environment.newline. Okay. Right, now then, I'm also going to say if age is less than 0, or, where's my or button, age is greater than 120, I'm going to do the same one. Error text. Now you need to be thinking very carefully about the inputs that you are using. And if we get to here, right, so now I'm going to say if error text dot, is it size length? There we go, is greater than 0. Then I'm going to do a, what was it? Message box, C#, message box.show, here we go, message box.show, error text, and I fancy, oh, I'm going to be bothered, half a sec, let's pause this. Right, oh god, you know, I can't remember, there is a way, it's one of these. Here we go, it's message box buttons, oh, message box icon. Oh, okay, so let's go message box buttons. You can have a play with this. Let's just go OK, and then message box icon. This is pretty cool. I'm going to go for error. And then that gives us a nice cool error. And now, oh, why is it doing that? Cannot, oh, have I done this wrong? Comma. Oh, and, oh, right, hang on. Let's just find the right one. I thought I found the right one. Oh, I need to have a caption, so I'm just going to go error. Or input error. Brilliant. Hopefully that's going to work. Right, let's just see if this works. So now, if I just go submit, name is empty, invalid age, okay, with input error. Oh, right, okay. And the bit I forgot to do was, I need the else. If there isn't an error, that, whoops, that is when we're going to do all of that. So this is the, everything is fine. Right. Here we go. Right, so let's give this a whirl. So let's try that one. So there's nothing. Okay, so I've got to try again. Let's go for a name. Well, let's leave the name, but let's go for invalid. So that gives us that. If we give a name, we'll give that. It's only saying invalid age. Okay. The other one we could do is put a massive number in. Invalid age. But if I put in a perfect age. Oh, right, okay, so we've now got another error. So things are not in the correct order. So I need to now, right, okay, now this is interesting, isn't it? So this is, we've got another error now, which is basically saying, because I'm adding the first ID, and what it's basically saying is it's saying let's just have a little look. So the row, I bet it's saying there's no 0, there's nothing there. And so what it's trying to do, it's trying to add something to a table, and it's trying to get the next ID, but there's nothing in there, so we can't do that. So let's put another try catch in. So hint, I'm going to go ID equals 1. So for the default, and then I'm going to try this, and if, just going to do that, because if it's okay, it's fine. I think that might fix it. So basically, set it to 1. If this causes an error, it's going to be 1. This will always work as long as there's at least one element that is 1. Right, let's try this. So we're kind of, this is pretty good now. So we've got Mr. Ditman. Now I'm going to be 23. Hey, there we go. And now we can add another one. Bob, it's going to be 45. Hey, there we go. And you can select them. I don't know why you'd want to, but anyway. So I'm going to stop there. So just to kind of summarise what we've done. So I've added some try catches around areas which are causing things to go wrong. And I've also used range testing and kind of just testing to make sure that my input is valid. And I've kind of done it like this. Right, see you at the next one.